When we think of design and architecture in general, words like innovation, improvement, and the term suiting the needs of our society come to mind. Hawaii, the ever expanding story about the tropical paradise turned high speed metropolis. Because of this, debate on the topic of modernization is increasingly prevalent, much of it revolving around the preservation of what makes Hawaii, Hawaii. The goal of architecture is to improve the functionality, aesthetic, experience, and on all other fronts, is there a time where we say no to development? When does it go too far? Is it when we lose culture and history as a byproduct? Change is something we can't ignore, but design and architecture can instead revitalize the past. Here, we dive into the interview of Gay Chan, curator on the disappearing Honolulu art exhibit.
Why did your department decide to exhibit his photographs?
I'm the curator, so I proposed this as a project to show at the Janya Museum. I think it's an important document of that period. And he's an important artist already. I think that because what I mentioned, that it's a bit of an outlier for his usual portraiture, I think that's also pretty unique as well. And for me, as an artist, I think it's just the quality of the work.
A photographer and a person?
Yeah. So I met him when I was about your age. He's primarily known for his portraiture, and particularly of cultural practitioners. He photographed dancers, musicians, and artisans and artists, both in Japan and in Hawaii. So he's very well known for that. This particular project, it's a bit of an outlier, and I actually didn't know about it until much later, through being exposed to his film that's being screened here. It's called A'ala, Death of a Community. And the film does include many images of human beings, but it's really about the transformation of a place rather than portraits. The project started when his good friend Ken Bushnell, who also happened to be a painting professor at my department, the Department of Art and Art History, he rented a studio in the A'ala area, above the A'ala pawn shop. And he was told by a friend that that whole area is going to be demolished as part of kind of urban renewal. So this prompted them to wanted to document that space and the people and the neighborhood and the communities there, the businesses, the activities before it was all over. Both the film and the photographs is from that period before everything was gone. So it's, by my guess, is from the shooting was done in 1962 to 64, because by 64 much of the demolition had already occurred.
What can you say about street life and architecture of the 1960s at Ala compared to right now?
You can see how, in this neighborhood anyway, people lived extremely communally. There was a lot of tenement houses there, occupied by single men who worked at the plantation but would live, they didn't have any families, so they lived together. It was very multi-ethnic, and they shared kitchens and they shared bathrooms. So they didn't have homes where everyone had their own discrete spaces. So there's a lot of interactions and kind of some feeling of community. I think that these days we're pretty isolated compared to that type of space.
Like, changing isn't a bad thing, right? It's just important to record what it was like before.
I think that all changes can be assessed. So I think that that particular period of urban renewal, I think they wanted to clean up some of the wood tenement buildings because they thought it was a fire hazard. But there was no way of, but they also destroyed people's lives and communities because they didn't think about providing affordable housing for the people. So basically they just dispersed and then they never came together again. And these were like very close-knit communities. They were butchers, mochi producers, you know, they're fishmongers, of businesses that people need for their day-to-day living. I think it's a good thing for people to not live in dwellings that would be that they could die from fire. But I think they should have been thought through much more. And I think this is a problem that continues to happen today. You know, the city, if you talk to the mayor, is always like cleaning things up, right? So we clean things up, like the whole homeless situation. If we just throw away their things, it doesn't mean that we have solved the issue. So I think that a lot of these projects are very short-sighted, and in my mind, quite brutal. Let's just compare that period before it was destroyed to now. Like in that area of Aala had 200 businesses there. If you go to Chinatown now, what you have are like very consumer-based businesses of goods and commodities, like I would say even luxury goods and restaurants. So it's all about consumerism, not stuff that you need for life. So I think that changes the human beings who live there. Like for people like your age, it's all about like which restaurant you go to, not learning how to cook, because the culture has shifted toward a consumer society. So I think that these changes who we are. The internet changes who we are. It's not the same to see the show on your phone.